Hey guys, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Hopefully you like it. What I'm going to be showing you today is how to use the gunsmithing, how to build a weapon from all the parts that you find or buy or acquire, however you get them. But you're going to be using this panel to the left of the gunsmith bench. And how it starts right here, every weapon starts with what's called the core component. That's what I'm showing here. When you're making an AR-15 or any of that, look at the selector on there so you can do semi or auto, so you don't use one that has burst unless that's what you want. But then as you start going through it, you see that there's a core components, which is that one right there, and you have to have that to kind of start everything. And then under the core component, you have essential components or essential parts. And those are all the parts that are needed for the gun to fire. And then below that, you're going to have, additional things like magazine, of course, for bullets, and mods like hand grips and sights and things like that too. So what I'm showing here is how to build the AR-15, and this is through the missions through Newman Industries, through ANA. And I really encourage you to take the time to really learn that, because what it does is those missions is it takes you from like a basic little crappy AR-15 and it gives you the parts until you eventually keep upgrading it until you build the weapon that we're building here today, which is amazing. And I'll show it off after we build it here, how good it works. And I'm also going to be showing a couple little tricks too, like how to use a long range sight and short range sight. So but what I'm doing is going through the list on the left side panel there. So you start with the core component, then you go to the essential components. So he needs a lower receiver as the core component to make this, and then you have the upper receiver, which we put on there already. That's the part that actually chambers the round and everything. Then the next essential component is the barrel, which I put on there. And then you have the next essential component after that is the handguard. And I'm showing here too, you gotta match the right sizes. I mean, I guess you don't technically have to, but you probably want to, depending on the weapon you're building, so that way you can get the best ergonomics out of it and everything. I'm showing you some of the components. If you do those on missions from Newman Industries, it gives you this handguard. It's a legendary. It gives you that stock. It gives you most of all this stuff here as rewards. So pay attention to the gun parts when you're getting rewards from them, because it helps you upgrade to the next weapon. But then keep going along the line here. I don't have all the pistol grips unlocked, of course. I'm still pretty low level in this season, so that's why this is a good example to show like anyone from the very beginning can start making this weapon, which is really neat if you follow on his task guideline or whatever. So now we have the final part of it, the gun stocks. You can choose different ones. This is the one that you get from there, from on again, and you can see it's an ultimate one there, so you can really make a very high level tier 4 weapon at the very beginning if you use gunsmithing. That's kind of the idea on this too, is that we can stop using stock weapons and start building your own weapons in this game, and it's really cool. One of the neat things about it is that all of these weapon parts and mods and scopes and everything are real life counterparts. So this is like a gunsmithing game within a game. You can literally get into this and just build your own weapons, test them out, and then see if you like the real life component before you buy it or whatever, or just try out different guns. It's really awesome. Anyway, so there we're going. Now we're just going through the list on the screen. That's really how you build it. You start from the top, make sure you got all the parts, put it together. So what you do though, when you start doing this, you start learning the parts, because you'll see all these things are locked, and I might say, oh, I need to keep my eye out for that suppressor, or I need to keep my eye out for this so I can finish the gun I'm building. I currently have a PKP light machine gun where I found the core component out in the raid, and you can put it on this weaponsmith stand, and it actually is a save point. So when you leave raids or log out and log back in, it'll keep your weapon that you're building on over time. So it really helps you by really getting into this, to learning the weapon parts and learning what you need, and then you can build way better guns than you usually find out in stock, or ones you buy too. What I'm showing here, this was you have to learn how the mounts work. So when you're looking at this screen, sometimes you'll see a little broken chain symbol, and that means that part can work on this style of weapon, but you got to have the right components for it to connect to. And so putting the right mounts on it are important. And so what I have here is, you can see I have the mount sitting right next to the mod that I need. So I got a little side mount you got to put on here in order to use this handrail or this guardrail. And different guardrails might have different ones. So you kind of have to, that's where I'm saying you got to learn the system a little bit and really take your time, you know, maybe reading it and figuring it out. But once you get it and start getting the idea of it and it flows so good. And this gun is totally weapon different. This is how you can stack scopes. So what I really took a while to figure out was how to have a long range and a short range and a medium range with that laser. So that scope right there, you get as, I think, a reward, and it's a tier 4 scope. And then it has rails already built in on top. So look for a scope with the rails built in on top. And then you can have a long range scope, a mid range sight, and a laser sight for short range. So this weapon, on the fly, I can do any ranges. And then you just use the drill to drill it together. And I'm kind of showing here, right here, look, long range, short range on the fly, or mid range, and then like I said, use the laser. Another little quick tip is, if your laser and your sight is at both, you're using both of them at the same time, the laser takes priority. So if you're at a certain distance where the laser and your sight doesn't exactly meet up, the laser will be where the bullet hits, but if you turn off the laser, it'll be where your sight is at head on. So that's a little mechanic of the game. Then you take it over here to the spray department when you're finished and you like what you got, and you can get different sprays from the vendors and all that, but get yourself a good color, however you want to, you know, customize it. And then now we can go take it out to on a raid and show you how well this weapon works. I'll see you there. Alright, so here we go with the first engagement, and it is a perfect one to show how you can use the long range scope like this and then switch between the mid range. It's also a good way to show, when you pay real attention to the core components, especially on the AR-15s, make sure you get the ones that have full auto or semi. You'll be able to switch between those as needed between mid-range, close-range, and long-range. You don't really want to use full auto from far away. You can shoot it in little bursts sometimes, but you really got to get that one shot because it really bounces that scope, as you can see. But you'll hear me click in between the different selections, and as they come run up here, I'm going to use my mid-range sight, switch over to full auto, and now you can see how the weapon can just go in all situations. And you can get this gun tier 1 trader when you first start off, just, you know, following the gunsmithing mission. And once you really learn gunsmithing, you'll be able to make amazing guns at low level. You find them out in the raids and things, you'll know what you're looking for, and you'll be able to piece together and build awesome weapons over time. Alright, let's go see what else I can do. I'm just going to show a couple of quick tips around how the suppressor works, with, especially with the long range scope and the barrel that we built into it. Alright, last clip here shows how I can switch between short range to long range on the fly, no problem. Alright, that's it for the video. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to see more, and other than that, I'll see you in the next video.